Welcome to our video on the Civil War. Introduction. The American Civil War was one of the most significant events in the history of the United States. It was a 4-year-long conflict that began in 1861 and ended in 1865, and it resulted in the deaths of over 620,000 people, making it one of the deadliest wars in American history. The war was fought between the Confederate States of America, made up of 11 southern states that seceded from the United States, and the Union, made up of 23 northern states that remained loyal to the federal government. The main cause of the war was the disagreement between the North and the South over issues such as states' rights, slavery, and economic policies. Why the war began. The issue of slavery was at the heart of the conflict between the North and the South. The North, which had a more industrialized economy, was opposed to the expansion of slavery, while the South, which relied on agriculture, saw slavery as an essential part of their economy. The election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860, who was opposed to the expansion of slavery, was the final trigger that led to the outbreak of the war. Lincoln's election led to the secession of 11 southern states, who formed the Confederate States of America and elected Jefferson Davis as their president. Major battles. The American Civil War had several major battles, including the Battle of Bull Run, the Battle of Antietam, and the Battle of Gettysburg. The Battle of Bull Run, which was fought in July 1861, was the first major battle of the war and resulted in a Confederate victory. The Battle of Antietam, which was fought in September 1862, was the bloodiest single-day battle in American history, with over 22,000 casualties. The Battle of Gettysburg, which was fought in July 1863, was one of the most significant battles of the war and resulted in a Union victory. Turning points. The war had several turning points, but the most significant was the Union's victory at the Battle of Gettysburg in 1863. This was followed by General Ulysses S. Grant's successful campaign against Confederate General Robert E. Lee in 1864, which effectively ended the war. The Union's victory at Gettysburg marked the first time the Confederate Army had been defeated on Northern soil, and it was a major psychological blow to the Confederacy. Historical figures. The war also had several historical figures, including Abraham Lincoln, Robert E. Lee, Ulysses S. Grant, and William Tecumseh Sherman. Abraham Lincoln, who served as the 16th President of the United States, played a significant role in leading the Union during the war. Robert E. Lee, who served as the commander of the Confederate Army, was considered one of the greatest military leaders in American history. Ulysses S. Grant, who served as the commander of the Union Army, was instrumental in the Union's victory. William Tecumseh Sherman, who served as a Union general, is known for his scorched earth tactics, which played a significant role in the Union's victory. Outcome. The outcome of the war was the Union's victory and the end of slavery in the United States. The war also resulted in significant social and economic changes in the country, leading to the Reconstruction of the South and the eventual granting of citizenship and voting rights to African Americans. The Union's victory in the war ended the existence of the Confederacy and restored the United States as a single nation. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which abolished slavery and involuntary servitude, was ratified in 1865. The 14th Amendment, which granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, was ratified in 1868. The 15th Amendment, which granted voting rights to African American men, was ratified in 1870. The end of the war also marked the beginning of a period known as Reconstruction, during which the government attempted to rebuild the South and integrate African Americans into society. Reconstruction was a difficult and controversial period, marked by political and social conflict, and it ultimately failed to achieve many of its goals. Nevertheless, the end of the Civil War and the abolition of slavery marked a turning point in American history and set the stage for further civil rights struggles in the years to come. Conclusion. The American Civil War was a defining moment in the history of the United States. It was a brutal and devastating conflict that resulted in the deaths of over 620,000 people and left the nation deeply divided. The war was fought over issues such as states' rights, slavery, and economic policies, and its outcome had a lasting impact on the nation. The Union's victory in the war led to the end of slavery and the eventual granting of citizenship and voting rights to African Americans. The Civil War was a turning point in American history, and its legacy continues to shape the nation to this day. Thanks for watching. If you are interested in learning more about the Civil War, check out the links below. Please consider leave a like and subscribe for more content.